I need to see Devin as well. I don't, but this is why when we said this all season, why the whole blind faith for is like, I don't like small sample. I want to see more of it to make sure it's not a flash in the pan. Last night was part of that reason. So hopefully, I mean, players that have bad performances, players have rocky performances, and they could bounce back from that, which I'm sure they will do when we talk about them as well. But that's the big reason why I'm like, I don't just take it for granted that, oh, well, he played good in a couple of games. That's going to be going forward, because it's hard to do that, man. It's hard to replicate it if you're not like that. And that's what we're trying to see. And this is his time to prove that, you know?
Yeah, the Spillane slant across the middle when he was facing up against that running back. That was tough, because I think everyone in the stadium knew it was happening. I don't know if he was expecting maybe some help over the middle, but some no-name RB, that's tough. If it's Najee Harris, if it's Zeke Elliott or some stud RB, you're like, all right, I can understand that. But some dude I've never even heard of.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah. And then it did help that the next time, I don't even think, that might have been a wide receiver that caught it on the other time. Might have been a tight end. I don't, because they had the weird numbers on it. It was hard to tell the difference. But it just didn't feel good. You know what I mean? I'm just like, all right now.
I thought he looked good in the running game, like breaking some stuff up. Look, Vince Williams just putting himself out there like that. But yeah, the coverage is the main thing that we're talking about with our linebackers, really. Yeah.
Because even, I guess we're kind of transitioning to him a little bit. We'll still wait on him. But actually, we're not going to wait. We'll just go right into it. I'm trying to get this upper room member in here somehow, slick in this conversation, and I couldn't figure out how I'm going to do it, so that's why I was fumbling over it. So, Mason Neveling, I'm going to just stop what I'm saying and just welcome you to the upper room. Yes, indeed.
I got a chat. I could screenshot this chat just in case we lose it, like to save it, because this is about the offensive line. So I'll screenshot
that, please. Because you know that chat will jump on us.
Yep.
And I have not figured out how to screenshot on my new joint over here. So, yeah.
Works for me.
Bet.
Someone's asking if I'm wearing a Duck jersey. Please, dude.
Come on. Come on, bro. You think Deke wears Duck? No. This is peak. Man, this is big Deke energy over here, man. He went and got that thing, not even custom. That's the one off Presley's back.
Yep.
Yeah, off Percy. Percy Presley, how you want to call him? PH3.
Who do you think I am, man? I had the Melvin Ingram jersey after we signed him.
Come on,
you think I'm coming in with a Duck Ozzy jersey after Presley Harvin's performance? Come on.
And it's Nike too, man. Come on. Deke know the right people.
But we were talking Spillane.
Yeah, so with Spillane, in terms of him in the running game, I did like him. Now, when you use the term Vince Williams-esque, or like how you said that, I don't necessarily like that, because like we know Vince,
I'm just talking about how he was getting it in with the run game,
because I'm like
fearless.
Like with Vince, when he comes downhill, we see like it's a little bit different, you know what I mean? And that is the Vince Williams element of it, though. That's why we said with Vince, even though we know he's limited coverage wise, they're gonna have him downhill on run plays, and he's blitzing on the pass and stuff like that, but he excels at it. Spillane, I thought, played downhill really well. I did like that. But the coverage part, it's like if you're not going to excel and be a tackle for loss machine like with Vince, because Vince statistically backed that up. I mean, he was leading the league, you think about at the first half especially, in tackles for loss because of how frequent he is in the backfield. If you're not playing the run game like that,
being elite,
right, then you're going to have to be elite in other areas. The coverage part, we talked about that, where you say, man, you either can cover well or you can get after that quarterback. Like, you got to have one of these things you do, or you're a specialist in terms of your tackles for loss. With Spillane, he's going to have to just continue to keep improving in that coverage, man. And honestly, on the route that the running back beat him on, if he's just a little bit more patient, that doesn't happen. What happens is when that running back, because I want to say he had him straight up where he could have burst out or burst in. Pick your side, but understand where your leverage is. If it is cover one, because I haven't, obviously, we both had the same issues with the film.
Yeah, what the hell? Dude. NFL Game Pass, what are they doing?
They're tripping right now. They're going through a whole bunch of updates. That's why we haven't had a ton of film sessions lately either. NFL is, Game Pass, they're redoing their whole site, so film is like delayed. It's super weird. But from what I did see in the moment, it just looked like Spillane, instead of him just trusting where his leverage was and being more patient and picking one side, it looked like he was going to try to run the route for him. Like he was scared to get beat speed-wise outside, and that's ultimately what opened up to get across his face like that. It happens, but that's a feel thing. You got to feel that more. And now once you get the tempo of, because in practice, that tempo is different. In practice, the spacing is different, because when you're doing it with our D line versus our O line or the group that's been out there, that quarterback is not seeing that route. He's seeing a ton of bodies in his face. So by the time, even if you did get beat, it's not going to be exposed. Say you're doing it in a drill one-on-one, you might get beat, but you're saying, well, there's no line there, so it doesn't count. It's a drill. Get him in the game. Now that feeling is different. The speed of it, how you see it is different. And ultimately that pressure you feel when you're sitting here, when you're, you don't want to be on your heels when you're sitting heavy inside, because that's where your leverage is. And you're like, this dude is faster than me. I might be a little gassed as well because my first game back. And this dude can run out here, man. I better get over here and start going now. And that's how you get caught on a bad technique play like that. So I don't think that it's the end with Spillane, but I do think he just has to get that feel, just continue to get better with, in-game coverage versus in practice coverage.
He's going to be playing a lot of snaps.
Yeah.
We need him to play good.
Yeah.
I liked how Buddy Johnson played, but I don't know if he's necessarily ready yet.
Nah, I felt like the best linebacker that was on that field with us was Ulysses. I loved watching his game, bro. Like,
you did?
He flew around, man. He had a missed tackle, but he flew around in the run game. He flew around in the pass game. He played with great confidence, demeanor. Remember we were talking about how Pierre looked confident, right? Even though Pierre had some catches on him, right? He was tackling it. He was punching at the ball. He looked like he belonged. Ulysses flew around like that, man. Watching him, the only issue is he's doing what Devin Bush is going to be doing. So when we talked about the pairing, it's going to be, I need to see, can Ulysses do what Spillane does in terms of
the run game?
Right, because I thought Ulysses moved really well. Whether he was playing man-to-man coverage, he got matched up with some tight ends. Obviously, we had some linebackers on receivers. That staple has still, popped up a little bit. But as a whole, I thought Ulysses moved well, though. I thought he understood his leverage and coverage and understood where he had help, where he didn't have help. And his energy, he just like he had good energy, like he was having fun out there. And that's what it should look like. If you're in the league for a couple of years, you should look confident like that. You should look like, man, hey, it's preseason. This is my season right here. And that's what I thought when I watched UG3 play out there. I thought that he had that type of demeanor with him.
I was a little stunned that he got to start like that to see 54. I don't know if I should have been or not, but I would have guessed Buddy Johnson or Marcus Allen just because Buddy Johnson's the draft pick, and I've actually seen Marcus Allen play a decent amount last year whenever there were injuries.
Now, because see, the thing was, man, in practice, that's how they've been going with.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, and especially that Tuesday practice where it was like the dress rehearsal, quote unquote, that was the group they would go with. They went Spillane. They would go Spillane and UG3, and then the first nickel on the field was Antoine Brooks. He would be coming on, and we saw him early again yesterday as well. So that kind of held true with that. Now, I don't know if they're going to keep it like that going forward, because obviously we're going to see more of the usual guys that we'll be seeing as it gets close to the season. So now it's going to be cool to see, all right, well, who are they really looking at that first slot with everybody back, not when it's just these guys available. And the same with linebacker as well.
I hope I'm not overreacting, because I was pumping Spillane up this whole offseason, and I've been amped about Spillane. But, man, that slant route, that's tough.
This is the thing, though, with Spillane. That slant route, that it wasn't a surprise to me, because that's stuff that he has struggled with in terms of the coverage. The things that he does well, though, is he's a smart player, and typically he doesn't get beat to his leverage. Remember, when he came on the show and he talked about it, that's one of the things he said. He's like, man, encourage what Coach Tomlin preaches. Competitive, away from your leverage, never get beat to your leverage. Because when you get beat to your leverage, you get big gains like that. And that's ultimately we haven't seen a ton of from him. He's been good with his leverage side. So I just think, man, just get more.
Okay.
See it. Just see it some more. See it some more. Feel it some more, because it's a different feeling, man. Like I said, the urgency, man, the sense of panic, the sense of, yo, is he about to leave me? You feel it way more in a game scenario like that. But if this continues, now you got to start looking differently. And if UG3 is playing like that, but you could bump him over, now you feel more pressure if you're Spillane.
Well, I'm not concerned about UG3 playing well. I'm just thinking more for the Steelers team, because if we're saying Spillane's going to get 95 to 100% of these snaps opposite Devin Bush, and we don't have a backup plan.
But that's what I just said. No, but see, that's what I just said right there. The backup plan is if UG3 can bump over and continue to look like how he was looking, that would be your backup plan.
Okay.
You become super fast on the inside. Now you want to have as much size, because Ulysses Gilbert is a smaller linebacker than Spillane, but you would be definitely significantly upgrading athletically. So that's the thing. But with UG3, we know small sample size. Once again, the same thing I just said about Spillane, small sample size. So I feel about UG3. How many games can we point to where we can say UG3 flew around,
outside of preseason,
was healthy the whole game, looked good in the run game and in the pass game? We can't say that about a lot of his tape. So I'm not sold on that just yet. That was a one-off. Like, I need to know, is that outlier, or are you flashing the pan, or is that the norm for you? And we're going to get a chance to see that once again this week. That's the beauty of the preseason, though, man, because that's significant right now. We thought that was a little bit more put to rest, right? We thought, okay, Spillane come in, Spillane's going to play well. It's going to be clear that Spillane's the guy. And then you got Devin Bush right there. Spillane struggles a little bit last night. Now we're getting different conversations. That's the beauty of the preseason, man. I love it. I love it.
A few series in a preseason game.
I love it, man.
Do that to you. It did have me a little concerned. I was just like, oh wait, this is our guy for 100% of the snaps throughout the whole season.
Yeah.
What's our backup plan?
Yeah, man.
What is our backup plan? And I liked what Buddy Johnson did, but there's no way they're going to be putting him out there early on.
Young,
but if you're saying Ulysses Gilbert, because I missed that. I mean, I don't know. I'm watching.
Yeah.
I see the Spillane. Gilbert, there wasn't anything glaring. He gave up that one with the missed tackle, but that looked like a zone coverage type of thing for me.
And I didn't even have an issue with the miss because he was flying around. And even with him flying around missing, it ultimately helped somebody else get that play. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when you're playing with that type of aggressiveness, that type of demeanor, that type of speed, reckless man, it reminded me of, not to the same extent, not even in the same conversation, but how Shea played early on. Early on. Nah, see, that's why I said I didn't want to say it, because
UG3, the next Shea.
No, I'm definitely not saying that. I'm not even about to. Nah, we ain't even going close to that. But what I was going to say is this: early on with Shea, before Shea could like tackle well in terms of like hitting his target, a lot of times, man, he was just flying by so fast that he's going to either make the defender stop his feet, or he's going to get a piece of him just enough so the rest of us could get over there. And with UG3, even on that miss, that's what it reminded me of. It was like he's playing so fast and he's taking a shot. He's not, shying away from this. And that's ultimately helping somebody else make this play right here. But when you watch him, like I said, it wasn't going to stand out in the sense of interceptions or in the sense of a fumble or something like that. But as a whole, he just looked good. Watching him as a linebacker, knowing what I'm looking for in that and certain things we're trying to find in that position group right there, he showed some of those things. And that's why I'm like, this is that's going to be interesting to watch going forward. Yeah.
And you bring up a good point about Spillane last year. Even when he was balling out, there were moments where a tight end would get past him and get like a nice little 10-yard game. So maybe I shouldn't be as overreactionary as I am right now.
Because what was it? Was it the Tennessee game where he had? Oh man,
I remember one or two in the Browns game. I think where it was like someone got a nice catch on him, but he was making some of those other plays where he's like pressuring the quarterback, or they're doing screen pass. He's right there, level in the running back, which is what we were loving. We just didn't really get to see that yesterday. That's all. But I thought he was decent enough in the run game, mixing it up and going full speed, that I was like, all right, I like that. But the coverage element's the thing that we really need.
Well, and I will. One other like caveat for Spillane, because I'm always careful, like when we're talking about the guys, we don't want to overly, get on them, but at the same time, I don't want to make too many excuses for them either, right? Yeah. But another factor, another variable that could have, and I do think did play into his performance or the lack thereof from coverage, Spillane isn't a great athlete, right? He's not a guy that you're just going to drop off the bus and say, hey, whoever shows up, you're going to be better than them. So typically with a guy like Spillane, he's going to study film. He's going to study the playbook. He's going to study his opponent. He's going to know strengths and weaknesses. If this guy's fast, how to guard him. You're not doing that in the preseason game. So you kind of walk out.
That little caveat.
Yeah, so you kind of do walk out there, and it's like, we know our calls, but we're going to have to just be ready for whatever.
Was disrespecting that running back.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't know. I ain't looking you up.
I'm not even going there. But in the
running back made him pay.
In preseason, especially game one, you're not doing a ton of, let me look on the roster to see who I'm going against. Let me see which quarter, who's the O-line, like, because it's going to be a hodgepodge. You don't know how long they're playing and things like that. So you literally just go out there with your calls and you just hope for the best. And you hope that your technique, your fundamentals will get you through it, even if the matchup isn't good. But that's what I was saying with just the preseason in general with Coach Tom and his mindset. he could game plan them. He could scheme it. He could have it where, hey, UG3, anytime that running back from last night is out there, you match up with him, put Spillane on the tight end because the tight end isn't as athletic. It could be as simple as that. And now you don't have to worry about that. But because of just them going in vanilla, they're going to simply close the defense to the tight end side, which is by rule going to put UG3 over there for some of the coverage stuff, which is going to end up having Spillane isolated on the back potentially with some of that stuff where he was getting yesterday. So that also plays into it. Like I said, not trying to make excuses for it, but just give a little bit more context as to why he could have struggled. Now, that ain't gonna be no excuse going forward because it's Teep out there now. So you gotta keep going and improving. But just, don't start the sell Spillane just yet. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for calming us down.
No doubt.